You're good evening. You're tuned in to the Vintage House Show, normally broadcast on WNUR FM 89.3 and HD1. But of course, there's nothing normal about now. And so we're broadcasting to you from our homes. It is the at-home edition of the Vintage House Show, and the Vintage House crew is in the building. We are -1 at the moment, but my name is DJ Mega, also known as Kevin McFall, and joining me from the Vintage House crew are co-founder and super-duper producer herself, Lauren Lowry. And of course, it wouldn't be the Vintage House Show without a special guest. And indeed, tonight is a special guest. We have with us in our virtual studio, TYREE Cooper, the original super-duper producer.
Word. Peace.
How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm good. You know, trying to do what it do to make it do what it does.
Very good. I'm liking that T-shirt as well.
Word.
We got to get you one of the vintage.
This the new line I just started with my cousin. It's based on my my catalog of records that I've produced. I have some pretty crazy titles and some titles that are pretty known too. So this is
what does it say? See the first two lines: house music is my life. 4 lines.
Yes.
Gotta cop one of those, and in exchange, we're gonna provide you with a Vintage House Show T-shirt.
Okay.
We'll make that connect.
Word.
Where do we find it? Where do we order that shirt?
At Recouped. What is it? Recouped at iCloud.com. The website is not really up right now. It's still getting worked on at the present. So
we understand.
Yeah. You know, this is the equivalent to, you know, if I had a little Chevy and, you know what I'm saying, I'm out the back of my trunk right now, you know, until I get my little spot jumping off. You know how it goes, you know.
That's what's up.
Before the storefront start jumping off, you know.
So, that is what is up, man.
Everyone who's tuning in from YouTube to Facebook.
Word.
We are here with TYREE Cooper, and you are tuned in to the Vintage House Show, which is the premier on-air radio show and podcast dedicated to illuminating and preserving the lives, the music, the careers, and the history of house music pioneers such as the one we have here with us tonight, TYREE Cooper.
Yeah, peace.
We're powered by the Modern Dance Music Research and Archiving Foundation, which is the only repository in the United States dedicated solely to the study, preservation, and celebration of the genres of house and dance music. Our mission is to preserve the memories and the memorabilia that support the sustainability of this culture, the one we call house.
Right on.
Tonight's guest, we're so honored to have him with us, as he is truly a pioneer, and I would go as far as saying he is legendary in his impact in house music. Would it be fair to say that you are one of the trailblazers of hip house?
Yes, that would be a fair assessment. Yes.
Can you talk to us about how hip house came to be and your role in creating this subgenre?
Well, okay. I think it was about around 1988. Don't know if the story is true, but you know, I'm just gonna give you my version.
Please, your story is the story tonight.
Fast Eddie didn't want to do any house records anymore. He wanted to do some hip hop records. So the record label DJ International was only selling house. So I guess Fast Eddie figured out a way to combine the two. And so once Yo Yo Get Funky came out, the record label asked me, because prior to that, I don't know if anybody know what a studio rat is. And that's a bad terminology of a person that just lives in the studio. They call it nowadays. They call it I'm in the lab. You know, back in the day, it was called being a studio rat. And I was a studio rat along with shout out to Joe Smooth. Elohim is out there saying peace out to my brother Pete Black. He's no longer with us, but we were like studio rats for DJ International, right? So when Fast Eddie did Yo Yo Get Funky, the record label asked me to create something like that. I kind of told them no in the beginning because I felt as though that was a Fast Eddie thing.
Yeah,
You know, I'm from the South Side. So I was kind of like, we off into the deep melodic kind of things, vocally kind of thing. So, it just wasn't my thing. So he asked me a couple times, and then I said, okay, I had to find a rapper, and I called Liddell, who had recently did a track with Cool Rock called "I'll Make You Dance," right? And I had met Cool Rock prior to. I just didn't have his telephone number because Cool Rock and I was in a DJ battle up at Centrum Hall. Shout out to Harv Roman. Shout out to Tony Badea. Shout out to Tony Estrada, Cesar Echeverria, and stuff like, we was all in the DJ battle. No, I did not win. No, Cool Rock did not win either.
Wow. Okay.
No. I think Tony Estrada won that battle, or Cesar Echeverria. Maybe Cesar Echeverria. I'm not for sure. But anyway, that was around 1985 at that time, right? So, and me and Cool Rock's concern was who was better than who, as long as I was better than him or he was better than me. That was our whole concern. So when Liddell gave me his telephone number, I called him up and I said, yo, I'm working on this track. Would you be interested in rapping on it? He said, yeah, that's cool. It's cool. So, after that, he came down to the studio and he turned up the bass. Need not say more. And I thought it was I thought it was too deep. I thought it was too deep for a commercial audience, right? And the record label, the guy was Benji Espinoza. Shout out to Benji Espinoza. He said, Tyree, this will probably be your biggest record that you'll ever have. I'm like, man, it's too deep. They got pianos in it and stuff, man. They ain't nobody gonna be. They got some acid all up in it, man. They got rap all over it, man. They got all it, man. Ain't nobody gonna be playing this. 8 weeks later, after the release of the record, maybe 8, maybe 10 weeks later, I was getting ready to go to Europe. That's how fast it was.
Wow. What year was that? Was that your first trip to Europe, or?
Yeah, that was my very first trip to Europe. My very first trip. I was supposed to go a year before that, but man, we ain't gonna talk about that. But
so this was 88, 89?
It was 1988. It was totally 88. And like I think the record came out like September of 88. By November of 88, I was in Europe. Peace, Walter. Peace. By December of 88, the record was the top 8 record in the pop charts, and I went over there to top of the pops. What's up? Peace, Queen, peace, me. I went over there to do top of the pops, was the equivalent to like American Bandstand in that respect, in that regard, right? So if you was on top of the pops, you kind of, I have arrived, kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? And the record was number 8 in the pop chart at the time. It went from it was like one of the fastest records. Like I imagine like from 30 to 15 to 8 in like in a 2.5 week span.
Wow. That's life changing right there, huh?
We got a little turn up the bass playing as our music bed right now as you tell that story of how you took over the charts and what was becoming a famous musician, artist, rock star. What was that like for someone from the South Side of Chicago?
Okay. Business. You see some, not all, how some of these young rappers behave, bring back 30 years and you imagine that's hip house.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, we were. It was like. Okay, I mean, I was gonna make a bad analogy, but peace, Reginald. I was gonna make a bad analogy, but it was like being in something that was so small, but it was so humongous all over the world because the way it was perceived. It was perceived a threat in America to hip hop. Yeah, that's a whole nother you did. Peace, Chauncey. Peace, Chauncey. Peace, Chauncey. I know that guy.
The Super-Duper.
I've known him so long. Anyway, it was kind of a threat to New York hip hop because they really wasn't understanding. Although like DJ Marley Marl, DJ Mr. C, I don't know if y'all, I don't know how deep y'all digging y'all craze, but DJ Mr.
Deep, we go deep.
DJ Mr. C put a house track on the Big Daddy Kane record, on Big Daddy Kane album called "This Is the House That Mr. C Built." Craig G on his first album did a hip hop song called "Turn His House Into a Home." And Craig G is just, I mean, I don't know if you know about it. Craig G is just sick when it comes to freestyle. I mean, he's just, he's like, yo, he co-wrote, 8 Mile. That's how deep it is. Marley Marl, he loves house music. One time, this is, I mean, hip house is, when I say deep, it's deep. I'm just giving you the American side. I haven't went to Europe yet. One time we was at a music seminar in 1992, and a friend of mine, shout out to my man, DJ Jess, we walking along the beach, just, we wasn't beachcombers. No, I'm joking. We just walking along the beach at the Winter Music Conference, right? And we ran into Lords of the Underground, and we were like, and this is when like Chief Rocker, Psycho, all their first album, that first little album was, all the tracks was a hit. And so we walked in, ran into him, was like, oh, yo, man, like, what's up, man, y'all, crazy, whatever. And he's like, yeah, it's cool, man. He's like, yo, can we take a picture? And he's like, yeah. He said, what's your name, man? I mean, I said, DJ Jess, man, or Jess, He said, what's your name? Tyree. He said, wait, like TYREE COOPER? I'm like, yeah. He's like, yo, dude, yeah, we can take this picture. This Lords of the Underground. And I say they records was hot. I'm like, to me, that's just ultimate respect. And again, it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper with people that you have no idea. Special Ed, Onyx. Peace out, Leonard Roy. Onyx. And then you got the Europeans, my man King B over in Amsterdam, Tony Scott over in Amsterdam, Rebel MC in London. I mean, hip house just went. Anyway.
So where is the genre of hip house today? What's going on with it?
It's still here, man. I mean, if you listen to some of those, see, the thing is, what everybody get misconstrued on is what they thinking a hip house record should be from back in the day, as opposed to listening to these cats that's today, Black Eyed Peas and such groups like this, when they had that 4 to the Floor. Well, what do you think they doing? It's hip house.
It's hip house.
So they just not calling it hip house. Missy Elliott did one of the illest hip house tracks.
Yes.
I mean, just ill.
But now it's pop. That's almost pop right now, as opposed to a genre.
Over, right?
But it's still a genre, but they just don't call it that because the association to the association to the urban youth. And I said it like my man and my cousin Vinny, the two youths. It's the youths. It's too urban. It's too urban for them, so they don't call it. They just call it dance.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's how they mask it.
Exactly. That's so true.
Even what's the, I don't even like this child. Lady Gaga and her little documentary when she did Poker Face. The guy was saying we gonna mix a little this, some techno, some house, some hip house. We gonna mix it all in. You know what I'm saying? So it just don't call it that. They just steal it. Like it's mine now.
Right.
What's these cats? These Barry Gordy's grandsons was running amok here back in the early 2000s. LMAFO or whatever they were called. That was all hip house.
Yes.
Black Eyed Peas got Grammys on some hip house. So as you were saying about hip house, where did he go?
Yeah.
Pop.
Well, we've got, a lot of people tuned in, and this is an important education for them to have an understanding. And so it's coming from someone who was there and a collaborator with many of the other pioneers of the genre. I mean, this is part and parcel to why we do this show, right? Is to hear the stories, document it, so that individuals studying the genre, those looking to create the future of the genre, have a baseline, a starting point. And so who were some of those other people that you collaborated with on wax, which at the time was the medium of choice? Now it's all digital, but some of your most revered collaborators.
Okay, I don't laugh because they can't hear me and I can say it. I was one of the believers like in the Jackson 5. I was one of the believers in the Jackson 5. So the first people I started working with was my sisters. I couldn't hire no singer. I couldn't afford Daryl Pandy. I couldn't afford Robert Owens or none of the other. I couldn't afford none of them cats to sing on one of my songs. I'd have loved it, but I went to my sister because she kind of,
Go ahead, name drop.
Yeah, what's your sister's name?
My sister's name is Chick. You can follow at Chicky D at Instagram. Okay. Chicky D 9 or something like that. Oh, please don't kill me.
You gotta get followers, man. You gotta
So when I asked my sister to sing a song for me, she said yeah. So that was the beginning. Yes, I Feel the Night. Peace. That was like the beginning for me. And so her, my other sister, TYREE Cooper. Yes, that's her name. I didn't want to give her a government name. Thank you, DJ. Anyway, I asked my other sister, Miyoshi Morris, to sing a song for me. I don't know what happened there. My other sister, Miyoshi Morris, to sing a song for me called Music.
Yeah.
And so pretty much after that, it was up to me to start doing vocals. So most of the people I worked with was like my two sisters, Cool Rock Steady, my friend MCD, who goes by Uncle Hood. Shout out to Uncle Hood. And then in Europe, my homeboy, Pure God Manifested. Peace out to Sean Dennis, Pure God Manifested. Not so many. Just I did most of the rapping myself. You know what I mean? I kind of learned that skill on my own. So, and I didn't a singer. Yeah.
Could you describe for us? What are some of the core elements of a hip house record?
A funky ass beat. No. Well, it what do you mean, like modern day or just in like from back in the day? Because I mean, it kind of varies. And first of all, you gotta have the track. So the track has to be bumping in resemblance to a bumping hip hop track.
Yeah, take us through it.
It has to be. It really has to be bumping. depending on what what you have in mind. You might be on the James Brown field. You might be feeling some JBs, or you might be feeling some Macy, or you might be feeling some disco, but you might chop it up. But the drums up under it has to be really really cool, and the loop or the sample just got to be hot, or the overall production got to be hot, because Mr. Lee was doing it and he really didn't sample too much. You know what I mean? So it's not necessarily about sampling, but the track had to be hot. His bass lines was just banging. Doug Lazy, his stuff was just banging.
Yeah.
So it was more about the elements that went into it, and it had to have a lot of hip hop flavor to it. It just couldn't be your standard, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It couldn't be anything on that regard, because the rappers or the MCs was really showing their skill set, but in house fashion. You know what I mean? They was targeted targeted for the dance floor, but they were really coming up with some some nice little rhymes. I'm coming to hardcore like a giant. Don't stop me, because I'm defying any shape, form, or fashion. Get a Tyree boy, you get a thrashing. House people don't really think of it as that when they're dancing, but the MC or the rapper in front of them, not even make the connection. That's why we used to do so many shows back in the day, because they can make the connection. Oh yeah. But after a while, well, anyway, you have to have that element as well, and then the arrangement, nice little breakdown, a DJ intro, DJ outro, because that's who you catering to majority of the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the pretty much the main ingredient. It's not most big musical genres. Peace to the king, and one more chance. Yeah, we did that with Jesse up in London. That was a crazy session. Peace, Jesse.
We might have to unpack that a little bit. That session, what was going on there, but keep going.
Most definitely.
Most of your big musical genres doesn't have a lot of pieces that go with it. It's not so complicated. They say simplicity or novelty works better, right? So that's why so many minimal style tracks have been pop hits. And again, it's just me and my theory. I don't know. Somebody can argue with me on another day, which I love to do that. But it's just what it is. I mean,
claim your authority on it.
Pick any pop hit, and if you break it down, it's just basic beat, bass line, voice, and nowadays with some effects. Back in the day, it was beat, simplistic bass line, groove. They wrote it and it became a hit. That's why disco was so popular. Pop music was so afraid of disco, because it was, I believe it was becoming very, very commercial. The real disco records had substance. I'm not saying like I'm directing this toward this target audience. I mean the real ones, and that also was in house music as well to a degree, because Jack Your Body was a #1 record in the UK. Love Can't Turn Around was a #1 record, in the UK. Paul Johnson was a #1 record in the UK. You know what I'm saying? So things of this nature, that's just the ones from Chicago. It's just generally simplicity, but it has to be the right simplicity. You just can't just say, okay, I got a beat, I got a bass line, and I got this. It still has to be arranged. No, y'all didn't. Y'all broke out the fast steady joint. Yeah, it just like I say, just most of the time it's simple. it's not really complicated or anything. So that's pretty much it.
And so we pulled out Get You Some More because it's indicative
Yeah.
of what you're describing right now.
Yeah, that's my mix for Fast Steady. I didn't think anyone liked it. I just did it for myself because when I wanted to DJ the track, I wanted to mix it over another beat. So when this beat dropped, this is already in, then everybody is, you know, already at a high pitch. Exactly.
Well, I mean, this is why we call it the Vintage House Show, because I said we go deep, right? And we love this stuff, and your early contributions and current. So fast forward us really quick, and then we're going to double back to another subgenre which you were instrumental in, the subgenre of acid house. But catch us up on what you're doing today.
I'm out here beachcombing now. No, I'm joking. No, like I said, just started this t-shirt thing with my cousin. I'm working on a few other projects, not necessarily music. Yes, Jesse, you brought me to the desert. That was nice. I'm doing you know, I'm still doing music. I was before tragic. Something happened to my Mac. I say it tragic. I was working on a remix from one of my younger brothers. He does gospel music, and it's it's funny because the time I was growing up, I never thought any of my little brothers was paying any attention to what I'm doing. You know, it's just like, what? You know, like wait, and they sing. Wait, what? Wait, say that again. You know, I'm doing a remix. Oh, peace, DJ, peace and Mac, Emac, peace. You know, I'm just you know, just keep myself busy. Like I said, working on a few things, and just trying to do. You know, nobody pays attention to us when it comes to house music. When you turn on the TV or anything like that, you know, it's mostly, you know, Black culture is subjugated to just hip hop, and you know it's a little bit more vast than that because techno from Detroit, you know, kind of kicked off a whole nother you dig. So you know that's all Black music, but you know, so I'm just trying to do some things that I would like to bring light to that, so we can get some kind of notoriety, you know.
Well, let's get academic about that, and I know this is in Lauren's space in particular as well. The subjugation of Black music and then the appropriation of it, it's all a process that seems to be very cyclical as genres of music emerge from, you know, the creators. So how have you sort of dealt with that in your career?
Okay, I'll put it like this. I spent a lot of okay, like back in the day, like in Chicago, it wasn't so bad. So as far as peace, Harry, as far as like making hip house or anything of that nature, right? So by the record company not really knowing how to promote, first of all, promote house music, because back in the day they used to say house had no face to it, so you couldn't market it, right? You couldn't sell to the masses because it didn't have any face. Well, it always did. It was a DJ that was the face because they figured it out in the 90s when they got rid of the performers that performed the tracks actually to the songs that they were making, or the ones that was pop, right? So when they got rid of that systematically, the Europeans on that side, the Americans changed the name of house music to dance music because it was too urban for communities, you know, for whatever reason. The name of house was too urban, so they changed it to dance music. And so CNC Music Factory, Martha Wash, you know, tracks of this nature were becoming pop hits. But it was no different than Love Can't Turn Around, Yo Yo Get Funky, or right, exactly, or anything from Fingers, right? It's just they tailor-made the the market for that, so they can have a staple in it. I'd imagine, but by that happening, it spilled over into America. So now your black stations that used to really run, your urban style music and mix shows, things of this type of nature, were gone. Clear Channel or whoever was starting to buy up, black radio stations. So only the white stations were playing it. And then at that time, the music was not really Chicago. I'd say it like that. So me trying to deal with it throughout my career, I kept my ear to the street. So I started doing stuff with Dance Mania. You know what I'm saying, with Ray Barney. And I wish I told Ray Barney this, and I'd say it again. I say it forever. If I'd have known Ray Barney was this cool, DJ International would have never got any of the tracks that you know today. Had I known he was this cool, that's my big brother. That's my big. Ray Barney's my big brother. That's the dude, because what he did for young black brothers is open the door where there was no door for them. When I say open the door, without getting into too much detail, he opened the door. I mean, he busted down. So, you got your DJ Funks, your Jammin' Drills, your, shout out to Jared Drill, shout out to Corky, shout out to Wax Master. You got Paul Johnson. He gave all these brothers opportunity, and even an old head like me, to get down with these young brothers. So that's what I did. And the kind of tracks I was doing, it wasn't necessarily like, your typical Dance Mania, although it was Dance Mania. It was very Dance Mania, but it wasn't like it didn't sound like any other records, because I know I wanted to go to Europe and play in Europe at the end of the day. So, and I wanted my music to be over there because, at the time, that's kind of what a bag was. You want to be with a bag at, you know what I'm saying? So,
no doubt.
So I kind of did that. And for a brief moment, personal things happened. And so I kind of got out of Chicago and moved to Detroit and stayed in the same building with Submerge and Juan Atkins and Eddie Folks. And, these brothers up there, they accepted me with open arms and stuff. So shout out to them brothers.
Wow.
So, I kept going because, at the time, for me, Chicago was a bit weird. It wasn't really like, it wasn't no togetherness. I just say it like that. It wasn't no togetherness for me. And so I had to figure out other means. Now, I've asked a few people to do remixes. They told me no. I ain't gonna say no names, but so I had to figure out to do things on my own. So even while doing Dance Mania stuff, for a little while, I delivered pizza and things of that nature. Brother ain't afraid to get a job when he has to. I still had a daughter to feed. Super shout out to my daughter Renita, the beauty Price and stuff. I had a daughter to feed, so and try to take care of. So I did whatever it took. So once I kind of figured out my game plan, I didn't do no more pizza. I stuck with Dance Mania, and I figured out the way to get to Europe. So make a long story even shorter, that's just the beginning. And so by going to Europe, hanging out in Europe, I'm trying to see what the game is like. So, I hung out. Peace to Ben Man, Paris Mitchell, Victor Romeo was a good instrumental part of my production life. Anyway, so I went to Europe to see what this game is like, to see what's the goings on and the goings ons. Why, how come, these people is doing it and these people aren't. So I kind of figured out my little way and did a few records that's like I don't know if y'all know Speed Garage, but I got like a couple Speed Garage classics, that's floating out there. I didn't do no dubstep. I came close to doing two-step though. I like two step. That two step gave me energy like house music did.
Yeah.
But I did some speed speed garage tracks. Shout out to my man Carl Brown. Shout out to my man Matt Jam Lamont. Shout out to the to the whole little crew, because they gave me much love, back in the 90s and stuff. So
for those tuned in, can you just elaborate a little bit on speed garage versus house music or Chicago house?
Okay. My interpretation of speed garage, from watching it being produced, is basically a very tight house track where we might be lazy on an open spankman. It might be the snares may be a bit more choppier. The rhythms is more Caribbean based, because of the brothers that's over there. And so it's really house based. Now, one of the keys to speed garage is the pitch control. Yeah, because they don't play nothing at zero. They make a 123 track, but they play it at 155 million BPM. So
it literally is sped up.
It's really sped up. So, but see, again, like house music, it goes along with their dances. So they have little dances that they do with it, because they have a little culture, very, very resemblance to Black culture in America, right? Because they kind of like a speed garage party looks like a hip hop party, because their hip hop parties is totally different than speed garage parties, So their speed garage parties is very, very they're dressed, women with skirts and everything, you know what I'm saying? They forever toasting, you know what I'm saying? They forever, it's very, very, like we do if we was at like Chic Rick's back in the day, right? Like, it was very upscale, women came in dressed to impress, brothers came in suited and booted, things of this nature. Same thing with speed garage, right? So to me, I fit right in. You know what I'm saying? I fit right in. So I didn't ever have to come suited to booted, because they knew who TYREE COOPER was, right? So I was really, really respected in that regard. So I kind of stuck with that for a little while in the 90s, and then I'm giving y'all a nice little journey. I kind of did that.
There, brother, take us there.
Then I kind of went to. I kind of figured out I wanted to move to Europe, right? And so I kind of figured out, by me going to different countries and everything, me loving Amsterdam, without a doubt, I'm a pothead to my, So, but I figured.
What year was this?
This is around 1996.
Okay.
So I'm messing around 1997 maybe.
Yeah.
I'm witnessing some of the biggest raves that you can imagine. When I say raves, dog, my gosh.
How many people?
120, 90.
Wow.
1,000. Big circus tents. It looks like a circus. Some of these raves that I've played at and witnessed in the UK and in Germany, right? So around 1996, 97, I started figuring out I wanted to live in Europe, but I had to figure out which country I want to get, I want to live in. So I figured Holland was a bit too small, although I do love Holland again. I can't stress that enough. And that brings me to another subject, because when you live in Europe, there's a different kind of history that you learn in Europe than you learn in America. So I do love Holland as the country, because the Dutch people are nice. Shout out to the Dutch people, man. They love them some Black people. It's just, I understand why, You know what I'm saying?
So
I understand why. So
I want to touch upon a comment that was made. I think Jesse Saunders mentioned it, that a lot of people had to leave Chicago to find the real money, right? And so you not only left Chicago to go to Detroit for a moment, but then you went to Europe, and you said that things had gotten a little odd because maybe you didn't there weren't the collaborators that you thought there should be here in Chicago. Is that a fair statement?
That's a very, very good assessment of what I just said.
Okay. And so you found greater levels of collaboration everywhere else you went.
Not necessarily collaboration. I found I kind of found myself.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right.
I kind of like when you remove yourself from your base and move somewhere else, you can only rely on yourself. It's survival or not, basically, right? So you kind of mature within that, right? So that's kind of how I did it. I kind of grew up. Like I said, I still knew I had to take care of my daughter, so I made arrangements for that. And so around 1999, I was like, man, screw you guys. I'm going to Europe. I was on some Cartman kind of ish, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm out, and it was cool, kind of watching Millennium come in and being in Europe and this kind of thing. So I recorded and became friends with the producer of the Scorpions. From back in the day, I recorded an entire album. It was cool. It was a great experience because I got a chance to hear what how the Germans produce, right? They're very technical in the result, because it's not so like they don't have rhythm, they march like da da da. No, they just very, very meticulous in their work, and it's for me it was a good thing. So not to say I was lazy or some stereotypical black man. It was just I wanted to figure out how to really get down. So I learned. I sat back and learned, and did what I did. And so again, I switched music. So I got into broken beat, right? Yet another musical genre that's really dope. So I started hanging out with a good friend of mine named Matt Flores. Peace to Matt Flores. Shout out to Matt Flores. I started hanging out with him, and he was doing stuff like kind of broken beatish. That's how I got into For a Hero. The Wagami Brothers. These kind of groups and stuff, right? So I started exploring just different music, but still making music, but doing more vocal tracks than anything, because being that I am one of the pioneers of hip house, the Europeans, for some odd reason, the time had passed so much they had no idea what hip house was. I put it to you like that, right?
Okay.
So by them not knowing and me trying to explain it, that was just too much talking. Just pay me, and we could just do this. Just come on, just do this. So within that, I had a friend. Shout out to Sebastian Creed. We did a record called. We did a couple records, like around 2001. We did a record called, and for me this is crazy, Say Your Prayers, right? And I was talking about I wanted a Mercedes Benz and things of this nature. So the record was kind of a minimal hit, meaning Defected picked it up on a compilation. What's this other label? A few labels in the UK picked up on it. So it was kind of cool. Then we did this other record like around 2004 called Groove Y'all Tonight. This record was pretty big because I don't know how much had input into it, but they created one of the first DJ games. Like you had to create records, and you picked your record, put it on the turntable, press start, and you get the record in pitch, Once you have it in pitch, then you can bring the crossfader over, and you get points for having a record in pitch, right? Because you can go from any genre, chill house, deep house, so forth and so on, right? So that record was featured in that game. So to me, that was pretty big. It was on Defected compilations. 2 years prior to that, I did a mix CD for Hustler.
Hustler magazine.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I did a mix compilation for Hustler magazine. This radio station I was spinning on in Berlin, they had this concept to do a mix compilation for Hustler, and with the tour, of course. Shout out to my man Highness. So what happened? So they put together. I put together the compilation. We flew to Miami, and we did a photo shoot with this allegedly Russian porno star from this guy in Miami. I don't know if she was or not. We did a party at the Blue Marlin. Was bananas. It was like you couldn't get in that place. Strippers and everything. This place was wild. So we did a tour for that in Germany. Matter of fact, I don't know about any other DJ in the world. I probably could be the first DJ to spin in a brothel. What business?
Hey.
I'm sure there must be others. Not talking about it so much though, maybe.
It was, for me, it was a blast because I don't get down. I'm not, I don't have to do that. So,
okay.
But it was interesting because I could sit and talk to the young lady, and see how that game works. Like, yo, you might need a DJ on some of your excursions. So what I'm saying. So hey, I'm just down to be your DJ. I ain't trying to get no cooch. I'm just like, yo, I'm just trying to make some money. You get paid, I get paid. That's just how I'm looking at it, right?
Right. All business.
Man, only at this point. So I did that. I did a record that was used to. It was the compilation used for a Russian cosmonaut. They was playing this music in space. It was a compilation for the cosmos or something to that effect. I done stuff like that.
Jamiroquai type.
Yeah, no, but it was a compilation for this Russian aerospace program that was supposed to be going up in space, and they wanted some house music or some dance music. I don't know, whatever it was. I just did I did an actual production for it. So that I did stuff like that. Just like I say, just in between the times, just doing stuff.
I know, just doing it.
Right.
Being epic, dude.
Well, then I kind of figured it out, right? Like, I'm like, hold on. I'm like, hold on. If I'm only getting paid X amount of dollars to DJ at a party, won't I just do like I used to do back in the day and just start throwing my own parties? I was like, Tyree, that's a plan. So I started throwing my own parties. I hooked up with this young cat, Bobby Starr. Shout out to my man Bobby Starr. We made a little collaboration. We called it Jack the Box.
Where was the base? Where were you throwing?
It was based in Berlin. But before that, I did a party. Now this is funny. You want to hear a funny story? I did a party, and I used to have a residency in Hamburg, and the night was called the Power Plant Revisited. Right. Okay. And my concept was, to play some older type of, introduced to this at this time. This is about 2005, 2006, 2007, because this is when I was at this residency. So it was called the Power Plant Revisited. So like, the first year was fine, everything was cool, and then the owner, just out the blue, called me while I was in Berlin because I lived in Berlin, but the party was in Hamburg, which is like an hour and a half away. So I would be on the bus like every Thursday, going to Hamburg is only an hour and a half away, right? I'm sorry, on the train, yes, thank you, because I was about to say it in German. So I would do that.
Deutsch?
Ja, klar, warum? Kannst du Deutsch sprechen? Kannst du? Weißt du? Kenn ich? Oder nicht? Okay, ist egal. Anyway, so I would do that at once a month. So he called me out the blue while I'm in Berlin. He's like, hey man, I got this weird email saying we can't use the name Power Plant Revisited. I'm like, man, get out of here, dude. Everybody don't see no email like that, man. And then we can't use the name Power Plant. I'm like, man, look, we're in Europe, dude. They have no they you know what I'm saying? They can't
intellectual property laws don't apply.
Right. They ain't got no, they don't have again, I was about to say they don't have a incorporation. Or in Germany they don't have an AG. They don't have an AG, right? They don't have a
trademark or
exactly. Bingo.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, man, we can use that. They want to say, nah, man, they said this, they said something like whatever. I'm like, go ahead, get out of here. So they sent another email. And like I read this one, it's like if you use this name, we're gonna sue you, and then Tyree, we're gonna like ruin your career or something to that effect. I went, oh, y'all gotta be joking, man. I was like, go ahead on with that, man. Go ahead on. So I changed it. It's all good. So I changed it. The night still went. The night was pretty cool. I booked because it was like the first time I was doing my own little parties, right? So I booked Daryl Pandy. I booked Sundance. I booked Fast Eddie. I booked Gene Ferris and some cats from Holland, cats from the UK. So I was kind of getting used to this whole how they get down, because they wouldn't let me in the reindeer games even in Germany. But I bogart my way. Like I said, I'm from the South Side. I'm from the South Side, so I kind of bogart my way in and stuff to see how this game was going. So 2 years into the club, it wasn't good for either one of us. So I'm like, all right, it's cool. Shout out to the China Club in Hamburg. There's no more. Shout out to them because they kind of gave me my shot, because I met the guy on a party in the south of France in Nice on a big boat. So that's kind of how we met. I forgot to mention that part.
Well, before time is really getting away from us, because you've taken us on this journey from 87 to the 90s to the early 2000s. But I want to go back and talk a little bit about Acid House and what was happening there, how it evolved, what your role was. And again, I asked the question, what is going on with Acid House in 2020?
Real quick.
Acid, right?
Okay, real quick. Vidi Vici came and saw it. It came and conquered and went. It came and saw and conquered. It left. It came and saw. It scanned again. Acid House is one of those genres that is never going to go away. And the very record that you play Acid Over is very, 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 very funny, because I titled it Acid Over because I hated it, so I wanted it to be over. You know what I'm saying? I wanted it to be over. So but at the time, it was so many Acid records coming out. Acid was pouring out your ears and out your it was just acid everywhere. And just being in Chicago, you get overloaded. So again, when DJ International asked me to make a acid record, I had been making acid records for different labels prior to that, but by the time they had asked me, I said it like that. By the time they had asked me, I said, you know what? I'm gonna make something that they never gonna play. I'm gonna make something that they not gonna play. I know they're not gonna play. I'm just gonna go ahead and take this little check and just pay my rent and eat me some French fries, because that's pretty much what's left after getting a check from the record label back in the day, right? So Pete Black was in the studio. Joe Smooth was in the studio. So I said, Pete, you know what, man? Let's make some jazz. Let's put some. Can you play some jazz? He said, yeah. I'm like, can you put some jazz like piano over this, man? He said, hold on. I was like, all right, bet. So I went outside and blew me one round real quick. Came in so I can get the vibe on the board and stuff. And he had a Miller Genuine Draft, right? So he drank it. So I'll make the story quick. So he drank it real quick. Boom, boom, boom. He laid it out. Dun, 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 boom. I'm like, yes, that's it. They're not going to play it. I know they're not going to play it. Took the cassette home. Me and Hugo H. Shout out to Hugo H. We were, wow, y'all went there. Shout out to Hugo H. We was roommates at the time. Took the cassette home, the demo cassette. I was like, hey man, check this out. He flipped his wig. I'm like, dude, what is you talking about? He said, man, Tyree, whatever you do, man, don't lose it, man. Don't lose, man. Let me make a copy. I'm like, dude, I have it. Don't worry about it. So, oh, y'all really went there. So after a while, I went home. I went to a party at the Hummingbird, lost my bag of cassettes, had to go back in the studio, do the remix, and left the record alone, basically. Hugo did not speak to me for like about a whole few weeks. And it's kind of rough when you roommates and your roommate ain't talking to you and stuff. So, so after a while, I thought acid was kind of over, right? I was like, okay, because hip house was starting to come in, and acid had went to Europe, and I really didn't know how big it was in Europe until I actually went. So I thought it was dead. So I ran into Derek May at Gramophone, used to be on Clark. He said, hey, man, everybody's playing your record, man. Everybody's playing your record. I'm like, dude, what record are you talking about? Man, this smooth piano record, man, you got. It's man, everybody's playing. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? So he told me acid over, right? So, like I said, when it was my time to go to Europe in 1988, man, not only hip house was big, acid was humongous. Acid house was humongous in Europe. I had no idea how big that genre was, because for us in Chicago, right, by the time Ron Hardy played it, by the time the street DJs and Ron Hardy played it, now it's going to the radio. So now you got, it's that on a commercial level, but just in Chicago, right? And kind of when those little sample tracks that was coming out back in around late 87, 88, like your Todd Terry's, Royal House kind of tracks, and things of these nature, right? So when these tracks was coming out, it was kind of acid was still kind of booming, but not really here. Man, you went to Europe in '88, and you couldn't go nowhere without hearing acid something. Everything was acidic. So and then to this day, acid house is still bumping. You got a lot of groups that pop success making acid house.
Love it.
Man.
So
that is so true. That is so true. You know what? We went right into sort of your real life DJ career. Mm-hmm. And we always like to kind of start a little bit with the base. And you're talking about, so your base in Chicago. Talk to me a little bit, just a good quick synopsis of where you grew up, community, what grammar school, high school you went to.
Oh, no.
Give me those basic things. And then talk to me about how you ended up doing a few things with folks at NUR. What age range was that?
Oh, okay. Okay, real quick. I'm from, I claim both coasts, west side and south side. I grew up on the west side for a little while. I went to Mason Primary, Delano Elementary, Gregory Elementary on the west side, and then my mom did it. She made a George Jefferson. She moved on up on the west side. And we moved to like a 2-story, 2-flat crib on 59th and Emerald, and I went to Bill Grammar School. I went to Bill Grammar School. One of my friends I graduated, two of my friends I graduated with from grammar school at that time was Ken Bennett, like the secretary. What is it? He was Rahm Emanuel's like dude.
Oh, Chance the Rapper's father.
Chance the Rap. That was my best friend from grammar school to sophomore year in high school. I went to school with them. So I graduated from Bill, went to Simeon, hated it. Went to Simeon only because I wanted to play basketball. I thought I was good enough to play basketball. Totally not at that time. But not at that time. I did get good though. That's no joke. I did. Ask Chauncey. He in the room. Ask Chauncey.
Chauncey.
Played. So like after my freshman sophomore year, I transferred to Harper High School. But during those summers, I played ball with Hyde Park. I played ball with. I played AAU ball down at UIC, University of Illinois at Chicago. I played AAU ball down there. I played park ball. I played against Jerry Childs. I played against Jerome Childs. Shout out to Jerome Childs. If you got to know him, call him Jerry. Jerome Childs, Tommy Van, Tony McCoy, Ivan Young, shout out to my brother Nate Brooks Jr. because we was in basketball camp together and stuff. So anyway, so real quick, so I thought I was good enough to play. So I played at Harper High School. Shout out to Harper High School. That's my alma mater. I played 1 year there, and then I just I don't know, basketball for some reason was. I don't know. I quit and then played AAU ball for the rest of the year. So when it came down to camp, I had an offer to go to either Trinity College in Deerfield or the University of Wisconsin Stout in Menominee, Wisconsin. So I went up there. I went up to Menominee because I figured, hey, I'm black. It's a white school. My chances of starting. I got a good, I got good odds. I got game. I'm from the gritty streets of Chicago. So. That lasted about a good hour and a half, somewhere up in there. I came home. I went to Kennedy King, found out Hugo H was already at Kennedy King, so I had somebody to talk to. Pink House was there. Man, Alan was out there. Say Pink House, that's my brother. Oh, what a dual threat. Pink House was there. So I was playing basketball I was about to play basketball. Actually, no, I was on the team actually. Play basketball for Kennedy King College. So up until that point, I had dreams of making it to the NBA because now I made it to college, right? I did all this on the grind.
Who knew this?
Tracy Dildy. I played against King and Effort Winners. I played against Robeson, Hirsch, Hyde Park. I played against so many people back in the day. Lindblom, Raphael Cook. Oh man, some Boise Winners. My man, anyway.
Which is ironic because you left Simeon, which was a basketball powerhouse, and you went to Harvard.
And look, just real quick. Back in the day, man, Simeon had a team walking the halls within a team, walking the halls. Football, basketball, and or baseball. Simeon just if you can crack back in the day Hambrick, but see, basketball was very political. Okay,
yeah, certainly.
And if they didn't kind of recruit you from grammar school, so to speak, and they didn't breed you, so they, you had to be extraordinary. Yeah. And so I worked on my game. I worked on it and worked on it, just like I did when I was making records. But anyway, Simeon, I just left Simeon. I wanted to play basketball. So I kind of followed my friend Joe Love. Shout out to my friend Joe Love. His man, George Floyd. You know how afraid I was when I heard that guy got shot. I thought it was my friend George Floyd. Anyway, peace, Black Terry. Anyway, so I said, you know what? I'm playing with Kennedy King, so I'm on my way. And hanging around Hugo, Pink House, and WKKC. Shout out to Walter Get Down Brown. I'm hanging around them, and I'm like, you know what, man, this DJ thing might be my little lick. You know, I'm kind of feeling this. So I told the coach at Kennedy King, peace, King, Corky. I told the coach at Kennedy King, like, yo, you know what? Here, I'm not playing basketball no more. And he was like, son, you're throwing your life away. What are you talking about? What do you need? You know, you need this, that, and the third. I'm like, man, that shit sounds like an NCAA violation already. So I'm like, yo. So the little assistant coach, bless him, he told me, he looked at me, he was like, he's like, you ain't gonna be nothing hanging around them DJs up in the radio, throwing your life away. I looked at that dude, was like, first of all, man, you know, give me 3 feet, dude, because you know what I'm saying, your joints is a bit
pre-COVID. Yeah,
you know, your joints is a bit tainted and shit, right? So I looked at him, I was like, I bet, you know, I took that as food for fodder. So I hung around the radio stations and got the bug for hanging around KKC. But they didn't invite me to the reindeer games because they didn't think I was good. So being the basketball player that I was, and I told you prior in conversation that I played for so many schools because I was trying to figure out where I wanted to be, who I wanted to see me. So I had more offers than the ones I mentioned, but I'm just cutting the story down short. Because I had an offer from Iowa, I had an offer from DePaul, I had a notice from Marquette, Panhandle State, Southwest Missouri, these D3 schools and stuff like that. But I wanted to play ball. I wanted to be in the pros. So I figured out that game. So I applied that game to the DJ world. So I'm like, okay, they won't put me on KKC. I did the whole, you know, do. Yo, my name is TYREE COOPER, and y'all have guest DJs on your radio station. I guess Prince Easy like, this mother got to be crazy. Yeah, man, yeah, come on down, man, come on down. So I came down, I showed them that I could spin, you know, I told them the music that I was spinning, and that was it. That's how I got on NUR. And didn't really realize that it shared the frequency with KKC until you get past the McCormick Place. Exactly. Past the McCormick Place on Lakeshore Drive, and then
on a clear night, because if it's cloudy, you got to go past Monroe.
Yeah, you got to go past. There you go. You got to go past Monroe. You already know. You already know. You've been there, done that. So, and I used to carry my records. I mean, like, these DJs today, man. I used to carry a crate of records from 63rd and Ashland to Evanston every weekend.
Oh my goodness!
Every weekend.
So who were the DJs? DJ Easy Lee, which is Lee Cross. Who else was there?
Right. Larry Lair, and Sweet D, Sweet MD.
T. Chablis. Do you ever do any work with T. Chablis? Tim Harris, Mendel.
T. Chablis. He was there, but he was on a different night, if I'm not mistaken. Because I don't think he was. I think T. Chablis had his own night because he was so.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, this boy was so dope. That's another legend that don't get mentioned. This boy was so, smooth blends, just silky smooth. T. Chablis and his little drop. T. Chablis. Come on now. T. Chablis was ice cold. Well, yeah, that's how I got hooked up with NUR. Just that's how I got hooked up with any record label. So I can't get a free record.
You made the call.
That's how I met Jesse Saunders.
Tell us that story. Give us that story.
Oh man, my big brother. I love my big brother. Anyway, what had happened was, I was at KKC, and me and Hugo was playing around. It was like, he was Farley and I was Jesse. It was like, yeah, I'm playing my new record. I'm Jesse Saunders, and you're listening to my new record, on and on, blah, 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 whatever, what I'm saying. I guess Jesse was in the car, was like, these got to be the two craziest Negroes I have ever. They on the radio pretending to be me, so he walked up to KKC. Like, yo, which one of y'all is me? I'm like, well, who is you? I'm Jesse Sanders. Uh-oh. You know what I'm saying?
Love it.
Oh, it didn't stop there. So like, yo, dog, listen, hey man, dig it. Can I get some records? You know what I'm saying? Can the brother get some records? You know, that's how I used to get gym shoes when I played ball. Hey, coach, these shoes a bit small, man. Can I get a pair? And I come back to the crib with some fresh Nikes. Ain't got it. So I got records too, right? So I asked Jesse, he's like, yeah, man, just come by the crib. Now, and again, I appreciate Jesse because he did not have to let me come by his crib and see anything. The brother didn't know me from Adam. He just like, yo, I must have had a little on his face because he's like, yo, just come by the crib and I get you something, right? So I came by the crib and I looked and I saw this equipment. I was like, all right, that's it. I know what I'm doing now because he got all these equipments. I'm low key not trying to touch something because when he go get the record in the little closet, I'm telling it now, Jesse. I don't care. I'm telling it now because you couldn't see me. I'm on the keyboard like shit, drum machine tapping patterns and shit. And I'm like, I want to rub this on, get some magic on me. So, but he allowed me, and with Wayne too. Shout out to Wayne Williams. They allowed me to be around it or expose me to it. Although, I told a big ass lie to get to it, but he was like very instrumental. Matter of fact, Vince Lawrence is the one that kind of read my DJ International contract for me. So that's how deep I go with Jesse's gang. Yeah. So that's my big brother forever.
So the night is getting away from us, and we really have enjoyed the journey that we've been on with you. But one of the questions that I can't let the night go without asking is understanding how you got the name Super-Duper Producer.
Oh, that's easy. That's easy peasy lemon squeezy. It's from the rhyme. I think Cool Rock heard it from Milk and Gears, the Super-Duper Producer, Milk and Gears, right? From Audio 2, right? I'm only taking a stab at that because creative.
Okay.
Hey. So he took it and he stressed it out. And so when he said it, when he said it, TYREE Cooper, the producer, awesome, super-duper trooper. He make the bass and boy is banging. While the samples going there changing, everything is on, smooth and legit. This record hits like a Levi fit. So turn it up loud and rock the place, and don't forget to turn it. When he said that, I was like, wow, I got something to scratch. TYREE Cooper, the producer. I said, I can loop that. TYREE Cooper, the producer. I could be like Farley. TYREE Cooper, the producer. I can make a track. TYREE. That's all I kept thinking in my head. Didn't think it was a hot line. I just thought I could sample it myself. And make a nice little track out of it, like Steve, Silk, Hurley. That was my only thought. By the time that record came out, to this day, when people see me, young and old, when they come across house music, they say, super producer, awesome, super duper trooper, any variations of that from turn to bass and let the music take control, depending on which record they like the best. That one line, I'm like, wow. After for a little while, you get kind of tired of it because you ain't making no money. So I'm like, don't say that no more. Leave me alone. Move. So we kind of going. Yeah, go ahead.
We absolutely have enjoyed this, as Charles Gordon has shared. Shannon Sias tuned in.
Yeah. Shout out to Skip. Peace, Skip. It's one of my other brothers. Peace, Skip. Shout out.
We're gonna obviously have to have you back on the show because the journey, we've only captured 1/4 of it. It feels like.
So I tell you all the things that happened to TYREE Cooper. So a lot of things that happened to TYREE Cooper along the way. See?
And so we hope that you would return.
Yes, for sure.
Another episode of the Vintage House Show.
Yes, I enjoyed it. Trust me, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. Thank y'all. I appreciated the shout out last week. You know what I'm saying? I love that. I love the little going back down memory lane with Aisha Mays and stuff, because I don't know if this true is. I don't know if she's related to Ben Mays. He was another.
She is. That's her brother.
That's a good brother. That's a good brother.
He is he's a good dude.
He's another brother that was that kind of opened my eyes to like some very deep and it's kind of meaningful house and everything. That's a good brother. But I wanted to talk to him because at the time, I don't know how he is today. He was messing with karate or martial arts at this time, and as one of the things I did in Europe as well. But that's for another conversation at another time, because we're running out of time right now.
The whole Europe flow. We need to talk about the beginning to the end of you being in Europe. And where are you right now?
I'm in Las Vegas. Vegas.
Just checking. I want to hear that entire journey. So there absolutely needs to be around too.
Ooh, yes, Lord, yes, Lord. Because me had a big time in Europe. Just put it like this: I matured so much in Europe. I feel like I had a second life in Europe, because it was so many things that the places. I've been to Jerusalem. I've seen the Wailing Wall. I've been to Siberia. I've been to Shanghai. I love me some martial arts. You know what I'm saying? So I've been to Shanghai. I've been to New Zealand. I've been to Bondi Beach, New Zealand. I've seen a koala bear in the tree, and I've seen cockatoos like pigeons on a telephone line. You know what I mean? Bats that just fly freely in Tel Aviv. You know what I'm saying? I've seen some
global
around the world.
You gotta have all that.
Yeah, Turkey, which was funny.
So we're gonna reach out to you and get our part 2, 3, and 4 scheduled.
Word. Tyree's an encyclopedia. What people say sometimes, depending on the question, I can dig deep into it. But generally, I really enjoyed the opportunity for y'all having me here.
We enjoyed having you, Tyree.
We need more of that.
No doubt. Please tell your friends and family to tune in to the Vintage House Show every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central, here on the Vintage House page on YouTube, thedjchannel.com, and anywhere your podcast can be found. This has been another episode with Tyree Cooper.
Word. Peace. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You don't have a philosophical question today?
I mean, his whole interview was philosophical.
Oh, word. You can drop the Philly on me. Go ahead and drop that Philly knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Drop the Philly knowledge. You know what I'm saying?
You took me off my philosophical game tonight.
Word. Okay.
I'm gonna get back at you. Don't you worry.
Yeah, because economics, I like the economics part of it, and like this book, Freakonomics, which is a great, interesting book. I mean, different books like When She Was Bad, How Women Behavior, these kind of, all these kind of things I read in Europe, learning about, again, history. In Europe, I learned a lot by being in Europe that I did not learn while I was being in America.
So we'll want to hear more about that.
By design.
Yes, it is by design, and America is, America.
Showing its true colors now, for sure.
Ooh, say that again. Queen, say that again. Sin. Send them a different egg now,
For Lauren Lowry, your main man Mega, we miss you. Lori Branch.
Yes, Lori. Real quick, I used to have a crush on Lori when I was younger. When I first started DJing.
Everyone had a crush on Lori. That's
she wasn't the only one. Celeste, Bird. Oh man, I was like, how can they do that and look so good at the same time? And trust me, I was never gonna talk to none of them because I ain't had no heart like that. I could dog anybody in the basketball court, but to try to talk to a beautiful woman, I was like, I was too much of a clown, too much joking and stuff. So that was just me.
Everyone tuned in tonight. We thank you.
Thank you, Tyree.
Thank you. Yep.
Lauren, who's our guest next Wednesday?
This is Lori's night. She actually gave us the calendar, and of course I don't remember right now, but she's got some hot guests coming up.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fantastic. Tune into her tomorrow. Somewhere she's talking about a documentary that she produced. So that highlights the South Side of Chicago and one of her family's churches. So she is, of course, a dynamic person and doing several thousand things. So we look forward to seeing her tomorrow and then next week with her special guest.
Excellent.
Word.
Tyree, be well.
Yes, Kev. Yes,
out
Kev.
there in Vegas, my man.
Yes. Thank you very much. Y'all be safe up in Chicago.
Thank you.
Peace.
All right, we're gonna go out with TYREE Cooper.
Deuces.
Let the music take control.
Go on then.
Why am I the only one dancing? Come on. That's what the show is about, a little dancing. Dang, block me out.
They got half me too, so don't trip. Depending on how I look, they got you all out, but it's all good. Let the music take control. For the one who's got soul, TYREE Cooper's coming back at you natural. It's not fiction, it's actual. This music definitely happening to make the party people keep dancing. But this is something on a different roll. Hey, let the music take control. Let the music take control. Shout out to Anthony Thomas.
All right.
That's your vocal?
Yeah, that's me.
Nice.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, word.
I heard you say, but I didn't really know.
I got one record that went platinum. Peace. Until next time.